All right, we're going to move on to the whiteboard because we are running out of time, and I want to make sure that you guys understand how to load content, because my expectation after today's workshop is that you go into the LearnNowBC portal, you create your own session, and you practice some of the things that you've learned today before next Thursday. Okay, so I want you guys to go in and do a little practicing. So let's go ahead and learn about the whiteboard. So how exactly did I get content here? First of all, you guys are back to being moderators. So now up in the upper right corner, remember I still don't want you to click up here. Okay, let me be the one to click, but I do want you to look up there and notice that you have a load content button. When you click on load content, it will open up a window that will allow you to locate the PowerPoint that you have created and you have saved on your computer. Now once you click on the PowerPoint that you created, what will happen is it will immediately begin a conversion process. Now it's not going to do anything to your original PowerPoint, but what it will do is take your PowerPoint and convert it to whiteboards and automatically load it here. Now what happens during the conversion process is it basically takes a static image of each one of your PowerPoint slides, so that if you had any kind of animation on your whiteboard or on your PowerPoint, it will no longer be animated. So Mr. Fish would not be swimming and Mr. Eagle would not be soaring. Also, if you had any kind of live clickable link on your PowerPoint, it would not be clickable because it would just be a picture of your live clickable link. Whereas the link that I just put on the board right here is clickable. All you have to do is grab your selection tool from your toolbar, which is the tool at the very top of your toolbar, and you can now click on that link. So that's right. Susan says audio doesn't transfer either. So if you have any kind of embedded video or audio on your PowerPoint, it will not be able to be clicked on. Okay, so you want to keep your PowerPoints very simple. And I'm going to teach you how to add these things and save them so that you can reuse this content without having to recreate the wheel every time and add these things to your presentation. Okay, so the main thing I want you to get from this page is you click Load Content, you select your PowerPoint, it does go through a conversion process, and basically what it's doing is it's taking a picture of each one of those PowerPoint slides and it will become the background. Anything that you've added to it after it comes into this environment will be the foreground, and anything in the foreground is clickable and movable. Okay? So that's the main thing that I want you to understand. So again, tips on the PowerPoint. It does load as an image. So don't waste time putting animations and fancy transitions on your PowerPoint. It will not come through the conversion process. Do not embed audio and video on your PowerPoint. You want to add your URLs and all of these other things to the whiteboard after it comes into this environment. Once you've added your clickable links, your animation, and all of that, then I'm going to highly recommend that you save your content. You're going to save it by going to the File menu in the upper right corner. You're going to go to Save and select Whiteboard. It will allow you to choose what it is that you want to save. This is the important part. You're going to give it a name, and then you're going to select one of these options. Either a whiteboard file, which is a WBD file, or a protected whiteboard, which is a WBP file. Now, let me explain to you what will be in these file types. So if I have created a presentation and I've named it Pages, and I've saved it as a whiteboard file, from here on out, if I want to use that presentation again, I am never going to load my PowerPoint again, because my PowerPoint doesn't have all of these things that I've added to it. However, my whiteboard will. My whiteboard file will have not only my PowerPoint slides, but it will have all the additional things that I've added to it. So that if I want to use this presentation Pages again, then it's going to contain all of those things. Now, The protected whiteboard file will allow you to load a presentation that has been protected so that your students will not be able to print or save your content. You can also do this on the fly. If you save it as a whiteboard file, you can also protect it on the fly by going to Tools, Whiteboard. All the way down towards the bottom, you have the option of protecting your whiteboard as well. Now, a couple of words about these two file types. These two file types are proprietary file types, which is a big long word for saying that they are only usable and viewable within this platform. Now, they can be used over and over and over again, but in order to view the content, you would have to load it into this environment. So with that said, here's a best practice tip I'm going to share with you. What I normally do when I create content that I'm going to use over and over and over again, I'm going to go to File, Save, Whiteboard. I'll select what it is that I want to share or save. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to save it as a whiteboard file. This is the file that will allow me to reuse the content over and over again within this environment. But what if I wanted to look at this content without having to load it into this environment? Maybe I wanted to just open it up from my desktop. I could do that by going to File, Save, Whiteboard, and selecting either PDF or PNG. This would allow me to open the content outside of this environment. Okay, so as a best practice tip, what I would have in a folder is two files. One that says pages.wbd that I reuse in this environment, and another one that says pages.pdf that I could use to send to my students, or I could just open it up and look at it. Okay? Questions so far? We're going to talk more about this on Thursday. In fact, I'm going to be teaching you how to create things that are interactive, and I'll give you kind of a quick example of something that you'll be learning about. Say I am a biology instructor, and I want to create a little activity like this. You guys all have your selection tool, which is the tool at the top of your toolkit. So that would allow you to select it, and then you can go ahead and move these things to wherever you think it belongs. Okay? I have no idea where they belong, but you can see how valuable it would be to interact with your students on the whiteboard. This would be perfect for a group review, or it would be perfect for an individual as an assessment. Okay, now remember, I can remove everybody's permissions and only assign one person at a time the ability to work on this if I wanted to. So you decide how you want your students to be able to interact on this board. So let's see, so WBP is really no use to the teacher. A WBP is of use to the teacher. That is a protected whiteboard. So Clarissa, if you did not want your students to be able to save or print your content, your teaching content, then you can save it as a WBP. Right here. But I will tell you, I would always save it as a whiteboard file, because you can always on the fly, let me just show you, you can always on the fly go to Tools, Whiteboard, and protect the whiteboard, okay, at any time. So if you want to protect the whiteboard, you can do it that way. So I would suggest just using either the whiteboard file and the PDF. Those two are the files that I like, the file types that I like the best. Okay? You are so welcome. So we're going to be learning more about how to make your whiteboards interactive. There is no eraser. Let me just kind of show you that. So let's say I'm working with a student that is working on a really long algebraic problem. And I've watched the student. He's done pretty well. He got all the way down to the bottom, and whoops, he's made a mistake. So as a moderator, notice up there you have what is called clear page. You don't want to hit clear page because it's going to remove everything. So instead, you're going to use your selection tool on your toolbar, click on the item that you want to get rid of, and then just hit delete. So let me put a couple more lines up here and you guys practice that. So click on one of the lines and then go ahead and hit delete. And the reason why you can hit delete is because you're all moderators. Remember, if you are participants, you would only be able to delete your own things. An instructor can delete anything. All right. Now, when you load either a PowerPoint or a whiteboard file, now let me clarify that. Remember, let's review. I'm going to go back a little bit. If you want to load content, you're going to click on the Load Content button. You're going to first initially load your PowerPoint and then add the things that you want to add to it. You're going to save your content as a WBD, a whiteboard file. From here on out, you're going to load that whiteboard file. Next time you want to teach that lesson, you're going to load your whiteboard file. So you're going to use the same process. You're going to click on Load Content. This time you're going to locate your WBD file, your whiteboard file. And you're going to see that it's not only going to have your PowerPoint content, but it's also going to have all these additional things that you've added to the board. Okay? So just wanted to make sure that you knew to load your whiteboard file the same way that you load your PowerPoint. Now, a lot of people say, Sherry, do I have to do all of that just to load content? No, if you want to only load PowerPoints, go for it. If you want to only use PowerPoints, that's okay. I'm just giving you that extra step to save you some time. If every time you teach this lesson you need these things on the board, it will keep you from having to load it every time you teach the lesson.